What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again with another film breakdown. Today we're going to be taking a look at Sam Darnold and the New York Jets. Last night I was watching the two college football playoff games and watching some just fantastic athletes go head-to-head. Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Mac Jones out at Alabama. And, you know, all these guys are phenomenal athletes, great quarterbacks. I think that they're going to be in the NFL. And, you know, the question and really the popular idea with the New York Jets is to go and draft Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields at 2 overall, whoever's really available. I have a really hard time accepting that is going to make changes in the New York Jets franchise. And a lot of this is predicated on the fact that Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. And Sam Darnold is not the problem in New York. And that's, you know, kind of the main point that I'm going to go through in this video and highlight a couple of things that I see with Sam Darnold and why I think that he's a lot better than people give him credit for. And, you know, I'm sure that the mock drafts, the Pro Football Focuses and the ESPNs and all these guys are, you know, oh, the Jets need a quarterback, Jets need a quarterback. If the Jets go and they draft another quarterback, whether it's Trevor Lawrence who drops to him at 2, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's, you know, whoever, all they're doing is continuing that revolving door of quarterbacks without really addressing anything with their franchise. I mean, who even plays corner for the Jets? Who's a safety? They traded away Jamal Adams. Who do they have, right? They drafted Mekhi Becton last year in the first round. I love that pick. I mean, you have to give this kid something to build around before you ship him out the door. And going and replacing him with another quarterback isn't going to solve anything. It's just going to put you right back in that same situation. And guess what? In another 3 or 4 years, you're going to be in the exact same spot. Sitting there trying to volley for a top 5 pick, trying to figure out who you're going to build around, and you're going to be in the exact same spot. It doesn't make sense to me to go and put the face of a franchise on a new quarterback when you literally just did that with Sam Darnold. And I'm going to get into a couple of reasons why I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for and why the problem in New York is not Sam Darnold. And I think that they could re-sign him and try and build around him, and they'd be way better off than drafting a quarterback at 2 overall. Before I do all of that, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports, that would mean the world to both of us. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this video. This might be a little bit of a longer video, so sit back, kick your feet up, grab the popcorn, and let's take a look at some Sam Darnold film. How often do you hear that? So how I broke this film down was I went through quick game, drop back, pocket presence, and then some mistakes that he had. His quick game is phenomenal. It really is. I think that his quick game's outstanding. I think that his pre-snap IQ is really, really good. And I always kind of have watching him coming out of USC. That Rose Bowl he had against Penn State was probably one of the greatest football games I've ever seen, and he absolutely wowed me. I thought he played very well. Now this play right here, okay, we got a 3rd down set up, and all that's going to happen is it's going to be your very classic pick play, right? We're working these two guys on what looks to be slants. He's working out into the flat on an arrow route. And really what I like about this is his quick release, right? And now we're kind of talking talent more than schematics right now, but this is a quick catch and throw out of Sam Darnold. And you can see once we hit the end zone, he's got pressure in his face coming right now. And a lot of quarterbacks, sometimes they get a little freaked out when that happens, right? We got 2 linebackers standing in the A-gap like we do right here with these 2 cats. It can be a little daunting, you know, but he does a good job working this thing and getting that ball out quick. But the other thing, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, what are we working with here? Frank Gore's been in the league forever, man. He has, but this is not what you're supposed to do. I know, like, this is not what you're supposed to do. So what the Jets are running is hinge protection, right? So we're going to be sliding to the right, and then we're going to be manned up to the left with our 2 guards with our guard and tackle on these 2 defensive linemen. Now, ideally with hinge protection, you work your back right into this A-gap, right? You never want to let a dude in the middle of the field go free. That's just not what you want. Instead, Frank Gore works out here. I mean, stuff like this, I just don't think is Sam Darnold's fault. Maybe it is, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just like, he's not calling it right, but Frank Gore's looking right at this cat, and he doesn't go out and block him. Darnold's got to get that thing out quick. Takes a little hit at the end of it. That's a good job, though, working through that. And again, is it the craziest read in the world? No, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's not like he's outsmarting defenses with that one. No, that's what I'm saying. But the fact that he has the composure to catch that ball, get that ball out quick, and, you know, we can see some blocking miscommunications up front, I think says a lot of good things about him. Now this right here, another good read, hitting that ball into the flat. A lot of these plays aren't necessarily Jets' quick game, but it's just quick decisions from him. I'm noticing that as I'm going through these. He's hitting this ball. This is more of a drop back stuff. The Jets are running a little bit of mesh right here, but this is a good job, right? We're motioning our back to the other side. We know we're going to catch him in man coverage. Somebody's got to work out here with him. He knows that corner's not staying. If it's it's zone, right, that corner's probably going to stay in the flat. He doesn't do that because that's one of the only other things that they could do here is they could drop into 2, and you could have this corner try and press at the line of scrimmage. That's not what happens. He works with him, and we know, okay, we got this back open right now, jumps it off to the back, and we're into the end zone for a good touchdown, I believe. Yes, he does. Stuff like that I think is really good from Sam Darnold, right? He does a good job of reading through his quick game. Once again, we're seeing it from the end zone here, exact same thing. He notices the defense. We know we're pressed up out here, which means it's going to be one of a couple of things, right? It's going to be zone or it's going to be man, right? We see that it's man. We hit that ball to the flat right now. Nobody's accounting for the back, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. That's a really good sign pre-snap wise that we see. And right here, this, and I don't want to compare Darnold to Brady, but I just say Brady because I watched him the most out of any quarterback over the last 20 years. But stuff that you see from young quarterbacks and good veteran quarterbacks is you see them picking matchups out of empty, right? Right here, we know that we have a great matchup out of empty. We either have him matched up with a back or this safety's coming down right now to try and get there, okay? So we're working upfield with this dude. He's going to stem this thing out on what looks to be a little option route. Really good job, right? Darnold staring it down, hammers this thing to the out. We know that this linebacker's never going to get there. This safety's too far away to hammer down on this thing, get this ball out now, boom, and we're upfield. And, the Jets have had success the last 2 weeks, and a big part of that, I think, is because they're working their quick game in way more than they were in the first however many weeks of the season, right? We're seeing a lot of quick game out of Sam Darnold. We're seeing a lot of, hey, let's go empty, and let's let him sling the rock a little bit, let him make those decisions pre-snap and go. This is from week 1. I'm not saying this is from the last 2 weeks, but this is an outstanding ball from Sam Darnold. And I remember I was making a Le'Veon Bell clip for when he got signed by the Chiefs. This is just an outstanding ball. So what we're going to get right here is a wheel route out of Le'Veon Bell, okay? He's going to sell this thing into the flat on what looks to be an arrow. We're going to get that backer to come downhill a little bit, and then we're going to stem this thing upfield on a fade, right? Working that. You're trying to stack over this linebacker as you go. He does a good job getting in front. That backer kind of fades behind, but this ball is just in the bucket, man. This is an outstanding throw from Sam Darnold, and this is the kind of stuff that you draft a guy like this for, right? That's a great ball in between a backer and coverage and a safety coming over the top. That's what you get guys like Sam Darnold for. We'll see this again from the end zone. He just does a really good job of stuff like this, right? He's not necessarily looking anything off. That's one concern I do have with him, as I notice upstairs, it looks like he kind of is staring stuff down, but you can work with that, right? That's stuff that you can work with guys in the league. But this is an outstanding ball that we'll see from the end zone here. Really good job stepping up into the pocket, not getting worried, right? This is something else you see. Maybe guys kind of fade away from this throw because we got arms in our face. Really good job standing in there and dropping that thing in the bucket to Le'Veon Bell. Now, the next thing we're going to work to is our drop back game with Sam Darnold. This is something that I think he does really well. And drop back, I think he does a lot of things well. Let me say that first, right? But this is kind of, a counterpoint to what I had said previously on that last play was I do like, I said that I didn't like so much what he does with his eyes. I think that he stares stuff down a little bit. This is a good example of him growing, right? Him learning, all right, we can't stare things down anymore. I almost said a bad word. Can't stare things down anymore, right? We're looking to the left. We know that we don't have anything. I would imagine we're looking for some sort of zone beater here. We're trying to sit. If it's zone, maybe he's staying in the middle of the field. He looks that off, and then this ball is just on a dime right here, working to our tight end 89. That's a phenomenal throw. Absolutely phenomenal throw that we see from Sam Darnold. He does a good job with stuff like that, and I think that he has a very well-rounded game that isn't necessarily respected by a lot of the league. Here's another good example of him working through his reads, hitting his check down against the Browns lately, and he's even playing good football. So when we sit there and we talk about, do we want Trevor Lawrence? Do we want Justin Fields? Who can we replace Sam Darnold with? That's the cause of our problems. And I don't watch ESPN or, I don't listen to or read Pro Football Focus. I don't know why I'm sticking with those two guys, but anybody like that, I don't really look at their stuff, so I don't know 100%. I've just seen it everywhere, kind of on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. The Jets are going to draft a quarterback. I don't see the need there. I really don't. I think that you're wasting a draft pick, and you might be setting Sam Darnold free, to be honest with you, but there's another great ball right here in the red zone. We're working on this, right? And one thing I do like about this, and now I'm noticing how much of an idiot I sounded earlier. Love what he does with his eyes upstairs there. I'm remembering as I go through these clips, right? Boom, we're looking to this side of the field, which is going to keep this safety right here. Tight end number 89 is going to work up and run a post right into the middle of the field. But since we kept that safety over here, now we have a ton of space to work with on this backside. He rips that ball in for an easy 6. He's growing very much so with his game, right? And he's doing a lot of things the right way out in New York, and it's just not getting enough attention, in my opinion. Now, this play right here is just another good example of how the Jets are running their mesh and how Sam Darnold's kind of working through things. Once again, doing a good job with his eyes, noticing that it's man coverage, right? We're going to hit this ball to our underneath guy right here is going to work upfield. Like I said, doing a good job with his eyes, doing a good job upstairs, and he's not getting the credit that he deserves. That's ultimately really the main thing that I'm saying in this video. Another great ball to the corner of the field from Sam Darnold. And like I said, he's been playing really, really well these last 2 weeks. And if I'm Sam Darnold, to be honest, I'm probably looking to get out of there, if I'm being completely honest, because there's, you're probably getting a new coach. Adam Gase is probably getting out of there, and you got to wonder who they're going to end up filling that in with. Now, the next part of this, right, we went through our quick game, we went through our drop back. Now I want to go through some of our pocket presence stuff, and this is some stuff where I really see Sam Darnold is phenomenal at being able to read pressure, step up into the pocket, get away from pressure, keep his eyes downfield, and complete a football. This right here is an interception. I do want to talk a little bit about his mistakes. These clips got a little mixed up. This is something that you can't have happen, right? When people, maybe there are some people out there who are Sam Darnold haters. They don't think that he should be the quarterback in New York anymore. This is a great clip for you guys, right? As we're working this way, cardinal sin. Never throw the ball across your body. Never throw the ball across your body when you're rolling out to the left or the right, right? We can't make that mistake. Look at Brett Favre when he played the Saints, when he was playing for the Vikings, like the 2005 NFC Championship game, whatever it is. Lost the game because of something like this right here, right? Great job escaping the pocket, and then we try to make some magic happen. You can't do stuff like this. Working across, never make that throw. Never make that throw, right? That's one of the mistakes that he has, absolutely. And I will go through some more of his interceptions here, but talking about his pocket presence, because that's something that I really do think he's very underrated with this, and he does not get the love that he deserves. He is outstanding in the pocket, being able to read pressure, step up, and make a play. We look at plays like this right here. He's pointing, hey, this dude's coming. We got to account for him. They bring 3 right to the side. We only got 2 offensive linemen working that way. Really, they stunt their nose, so we should be able to pick that up with our center and pass this off to our guard. We don't get that. Darnold's got to step up, but look at this, keeping our eyes downfield, right? We can know we got this backer in no man's land, put him in a pickle. What's he going to do? He's trying to chase us down, float this thing right over the top, picking up some massive yardage, just keeping his eyes downfield. And that's something that I think is going to translate really well to wherever he goes next if he doesn't stick with New York. He knows what it's like to be under heat, have to make a play, keep your eyes downfield, keep this play alive, and get us some yardage, get us some points possibly like we see right here in Indianapolis. He's got a tremendous amount of experience in this, for better or for worse, right? I would imagine he's one of the more sacked quarterbacks in the NFL because he doesn't have an outstanding offensive line around, but plays like this are outstanding, right? We're going through our reads. We know we're getting pressure, got to step up. Just a really good job. 2 hands on the football. Everything that you want to see, maybe going 1 hand right there, proving me wrong. Sam Darnold, appreciate you. But just doing a good job keeping his eyes downfield with that pocket presence. And this is stuff that he does game in and game out in New York, right? He's always working, making plays with his feet, and I'd be really, really interested to see where he goes from here. As a Patriots fan, I would love to see this dude in New England. I think he would absolutely tear it up in New England, just looking at how well he does with his quick game. The things that he does right and things that he does well, I think fit New England's offense probably better than the guy they got there right now. No shade towards him at all. It would just be really interesting to see Sam Darnold over there. I got a bunch more clips here, man. I was way over prepared for this video, but that's okay. I think I'm going to cut it off right now. I got a tremendous amount of editing to do on this one. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. Like I said, Sam Darnold is not the problem in New York, and I don't understand why you just go and get yourself back into the revolving door, put yourself back into the quicksand of trying to go and trying to, find another franchise quarterback. It just doesn't make sense to me. So here's a couple of mistakes, though, that I do want to point out, because I don't know if a lot of these are entirely on Sam Darnold. Like this ball right here I look at and I kind of put on the receiver, right? We're putting this, maybe you can put it a little bit more to the sidelines, trying to get a back shoulder on that, but the receiver just kind of gets bodied. This game against Indianapolis was probably one of his worst games. Just definitely was not one of his better games. He had a couple of plays that were just horrible. Hate interceptions in the red zone. I understand this ball where he's going with it. He's trying to hit this dude on a corner. That's the right throw to make. You just got to make it earlier, right? That corner is able to sink off of that, pick that ball off in the end zone. Hate turnovers in the red zone. That'll be absolute killers for a football team. And then this last clip right here, I kind of struggle with who this is on. He's throwing to the receiver at the top here. I kind of think it's on the receiver, right? Because this corner is bailing so much. If he's bailing, right, in the NFL, we're always thinking back shoulder. Always try to hit that back shoulder. It's indefensible if you can do it well. Okay, so this corner is bailing like that. My receiver's got to turn and look at the quarterback, because if he's turning and looking, then we can hammer this back shoulder and he knows when it's coming. He keeps his head down. He just keeps chugging upfield. He's got no idea where that ball is. He's not able to make a play. Now, ideally, right, Sam Darnold probably shouldn't be throwing that football, absolutely. And I'm not trying to say Sam Darnold is the next savior of the NFL, but I do think he does a lot of things well. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves in New York, and I think wherever he goes next, he's going to, as long as it's on a good team that's got a good core and that can build around him, he's in the right environment, I think that he's going to be a really good football player for years to come. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. Probably going to be a little bit of a longer video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports. That would mean the world to both of us. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. I'll be back in the week with some more content. Stay safe, wash those hands, and I'll see you next time.